Good afternoon. So, first of all, yesterday evening, I was offered a transfer inside the hostel to a room, like a single room. So, of course, I took it and was very happy. So now I have my own room with a TV and a very big window and even a nice bed, which is all for myself, and which is excellent because first of all, I mean, more privacy and less of a chance of and I've got a key to the door, which I didn't have like in the previous room, and so it's more comfort, more secure, and will surely help me with my plans of starting the business, and also perhaps more scientific stuff, but we should see about that. It's not trivial, but I mean, certainly it's something that I'm according to the plan. I mean, it's not. I'm not going to get out of here like very soon. I mean, we're talking at least like a couple of, several months probably. I mean, unless something very optimistic happens. So I mean, I need to slowly start to think about this place as my new home. And it's great to be like only single like in the room. And yes, I mean, you have like a little table, and so it's nice. Big window, no air condition, but I mean, it's not. I mean, for what it is, it's great. And I have that fan, which is should be enough. At least until July, August, and I hope that until then I will maybe have a much better alternative. It's quite noisy, but from the street. But I mean, you can get everything, and I mean, really, it's really good room, much better than I thought I'm going to get. Not only much better than the conditions in the rest house, but like the prison, but also much better than I imagined in like any kind of like such hostel. So these are good news, of course. So I wanted to speak like a little bit about. I also bought. I have some stuff here that. My mother. Bought me some stuff yesterday and things that I've bought. So, like I have like what I will really the thing that would have really been helpful for me right now is actually a computer with like a monitor and a desktop, like a desktop computer with a keyboard and monitor, and that's something that should take a while to arrange. Due to the fact that I have no money at all, like I have zero money, which is a very big problem. But so yeah, I don't even have a bank account, so I need to open one. As I said, I'll do it and start the process of withdrawing the pension money for a small part which is liquid from the pension fund, and hopefully until pension age. I don't know if I will ever reach pension age. Not that I'm planning to die or something, but I don't know if the pension law is applicable to myself, actually, when I come to think about it. I don't know. Maybe there are like legal advisors in the audience or like financial planners, but should a person like with my biology or pseudo-biology, accumulate money in pension? It's you have to do it by law, but there are still ways like to actually hold some of the funds in liquid, like in a more liquids, like it's a really small part. My pension fund is actually larger than that, but I have, as I said, between 100,000 and 200,000 in the pension fund, which should be. I hope I'll not be surprised because I didn't start the process yet, but they should, if I understood correctly, be liquid. At least, for a person that is in such a dire strait like myself. So the question is, financial theoretical question is, should like a synthetic robot, I mean, to put it bluntly, I mean, plan ahead for like pension? I don't know. I mean, it's funny that it's like it's a real question. It's not a joke. It's a real question. Anyway, so I wanted to actually speak like a little. I mean, just give you the good news. I mean, for all the people that I mean are on my side. I hope there are some like at least several that at least think that they are, and also maybe I mean. I've seen like a YouTube movie now, not that important one, and not especially smart one, and I bought like a trope, like a Pixie Dream Girl or something like that, which I mean, I want to respond to the movie. I mean, of course, from my own point of view. So, but I'll do it in a different video. What I will do now is just add a few words with regards to the fire experiments. So as you understand, I mean, no more fire experiments are planned anytime soon. I mean, I can't get out of the hostel. I mean, not at least until the end of May. I mean, in like a month and a half, or like in May 24, 23, I have another hearing in the court, and the judge already told me that, I mean, if I will behave nicely and not violate the conditions again, he will speak about, like, I mean, giving me like better conditions of like next hearing, which should be May 23, and like better conditions means that I will be able to get out like for a couple of hours a day, and that might be so May 23 might be like the date when the fire experiments will commence or continue. Even though, as I said before, I've reached to a point that I cannot really continue doing. I mean, it's extremely important and interesting. Like everything that belongs to fuel, and the nanobots is extremely important. I think it's perhaps even like important. Like I will not like. It's not an exaggeration to say that, I mean, this is, I mean, have like implications on the global scale. I mean, and like in historical implications, especially, I mean, it's not, I mean, in the realm of like environmentalism or green energy, because as I said many times, this is real fire and it stinks, and it's like, I mean, it's not like these are not good news. I mean, specifically from the point of view of environmentalism, which is of course important to me, because even if I want to replace or upgrade all Homo sapiens, I mean, there is no real I mean, preferably the Earth, I mean, should be stay like in a good condition. I mean, for the next users, but it could be a wonderful news for first of all for space travel, which is an issue which is very, as you know, close to me since childhood, and specifically during the last like maybe 5 or 4 years, and we spoke about it at length, and it's you understand that. I see myself like a messiah of the space age, and there are many reasons for this, and it's not. I mean, it's a long. I mean, it's a subject that I've already spoken about many times, and I mean, you can understand. I mean, it's pretty obvious that there are many things about my own nature that I mean directly. I mean, relate to space travel, or to the issue or to the horizon of space travel. As I've said before, I think that, I mean, every key aspect that I know of that is different from my nature to the nature of Homo sapiens. I mean, I'm pretty much identical to you in many ways. Like that, I have thought that of myself like as Homo sapiens for like 36 or 35 years. So no, I mean, I didn't have a clue that I'm not one. So, but I mean, the major aspects that differ are all pointing out very sharply to the conclusion that I was designed for space travel. I mean, space colonization, and like I was like designed to be like, to act and to think like a human, but I mean, to be less vulnerable to the harsh conditions of space travel and space colonization. And this is something that I think very obvious, and I reached to this conclusion actually pretty quickly, and also wrote about it. So yeah, space travel is important to me, and I think that, I mean, any breakthrough even not from environmental reason, but from efficiency reasons, or like from like, which also has impact on environment, but not a big one actually. But I mean, definitely, it's kind of trivial that even the small experiments that I've already conducted and showed you, and you've seen that it's replicable. It's not like a one-time miracle or something like that. It's a replicable miracle, and that this has potential huge implications on the realm of space travel, and also on the realm of aviation, actually, because airplanes could also benefit immensely from a much more efficient fuel. It's not a great news for the realm of land transports, like cars and automobiles, and trucks. But I mean, these are all should be replaced anyway, because they are barbaric. They make so much noise. You can hear the noise actually right now that all these monstrous barbaric machines are making. So this should go, I mean the same path of humans, I think. I mean, and should be replaced by better options. So what I was starting to say, that I can't really even not in in house arrest conditions, even if I can go outside, to the beach, or to to maybe nature, so where I can conduct experiments that would be safe for other people, if not safe for myself. I should also think about the safety of my own self. I don't want to die. I don't want to create a bomb, and I've reached the point that any way that I will continue the research into fuels will be, we cannot really. It will be not very safe, and again, I really do not. It's not in my. It should be stated very clearly. It's not in my agenda at all to mistakenly or non-mistakenly create weapons or bombs. It's not my definitely. The apocalypse will be brought by much more powerful entities than myself. I don't need to actually speak do it. I'm only the messenger of the apocalypse. I'm not the horseman of the apocalypse. The horsemen of the apocalypse, they're already here, and they don't need they don't need me. Aside from my function as a messenger. So I don't know. It's not my wish at all to create dangerous stuff or bombs, but inevitably when you continue the research into fuels, and we have already reached a point that it's quite. Even small amounts of fuels are kind of dangerous, and I've only scraped the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more things that could be done. I've already done so little. So it's obvious that that the Neros, the nanobots, could immensely improve current fuels, and we also we only use very primitive fuels like beeswax and olive oil, or perhaps, I mean, a little bit of linseed oil. I mean, the most primitive kind of fuels. I mean, we can all, I mean, the next step should be actually, surely, the logical way is to continue into, like, much more like potent fuels, but I mean, and to see how Nero's interact with those kind of fuels, or perhaps prolong like the reaction between them, because we've already seen that the longer the reaction time, I mean, the longer time you actually let the Neros do those things, I mean, the more, like, the better results you get, and so, I mean, there are tons of stuff that could be done, but I'm not going to do it. And again, not only because now I'm on house arrest again without any breaks, I cannot get out at all, but also because, I mean, I don't have any idea of how to do it in a non-dangerous way. But I wanted to sum up, to add a few words that should clarify. I mean, some maybe I've said it, maybe not. Anyway, it should be said regarding the fuel experiment that I mean, I think it was demonstrated. I have several. I mean, I don't want to open the subject now again, but I've done several experiments on the matter, and also watched microscopic. a little bit of microscopic stuff, and I didn't prepare videos. Maybe I should have, but now I don't have the microscope and the camera with me, so it's not going to happen soon. But maybe later, we'll see. This also depends on my mother and her ability to actually deliver those stuff here, the slides, everything. And actually, I mean, as I said, I cannot ask too much of her because she's not in a good mood. She's kind of I think, you understand. Anyway, yeah, but surely I need this microscope. I mean, I remember I've spoken a lot about that, how I want to replace it with a better one, and it was a big subject, and I still do. I mean, I'll be very happy if I have a much better microscope. But I think it, as primitive as it is, it's actually proved to be a valuable, a very valuable instrument of science. This Bessler basic microscope. I mean, even though it didn't cost much and it's not the best, but that good. But it was very, very valuable. And we should also remember that, much much more basic microscope than this one were used throughout centuries, and were used to bring huge benefits to mankind. And so it's not the tool. It's not only the tool. The tool is important, but it's more important the brain and the hands that are actually using the tool. So let's just briefly, I'll just put it the most important thing that should be said is that the Neros, the nanobots, are not the ones that are actually used as fuel. I contain probably billions of such of Neros, if not even more, in a higher order of magnitude. But I don't think burning me don't do it anyway, but I don't think burning me will actually produce any different results from burning of a corpse, of a Homo sapiens. And this is not only this. First of all, I have already burned the nanobots themselves many times in the past, and I've already in the last 2 years I've created many experiments with regarding to the burning of the nanobots, even without knowing how they look. But I only assumed that they are there. It was before I actually did microscopic work on it. But I burned them with all sorts of material, and took videos of it, and it's in the Twitter and YouTube. And as I said, and as I mentioned, it's actually part of the. It was actually mentioned several times in the custody case, as a proof that I'm insane. That what kind of a person burns his own semen. Only insane people do it, presumably, according to the social workers of Shoham. Yep, only insane people do it. So I mean, if this is your, I mean, this is how you identify an insane person, by him burning his own semen. Yes, and yes, I'm insane. But if you want to like be less of an idiot and I mean get your head out of your ass, maybe you, I mean, can understand that these are actually extremely important scientific experiment that led me to the very important understanding that it's the nanobots themselves are not fuel. I mean, as you could have expect, I mean, or suspect, especially after seeing all the amazing things that are, with regards to fire that you can see after the reaction between the Neos and other fuels, but they themselves are not fuel, which is, I think, could be calming, as I said before, from the, I don't know, society point of view. I mean, I'm not going to combust any seconds into like an atomic. I mean, it's probably possible, but not without some work. I mean, of course, the neurons in my body can create potentially from the material that is inside my body, which could be also, I mean, viewed as fuel, because I mean, when I eat, it's kind of a fuel, of course. So yeah, I do contain fuel at any moment, and I do contain billions of nanobots that potentially can transform this fuel into a very potent fuel, which I mean perhaps could be comparable to a thermonuclear weapon. This is a possibility, but this requires the nanobots to actually perform work, because the nanobots themselves are not the fuel, and this is a very important implication of the things that we've seen in the both during the last months or so of studying of fuels and nanobots, and also the experiments that I've conducted in the past, and some of them are actually mentioned in the trial, as presumably, I mean, proofs that I'm insane. Yeah, I mean that's Israel. That's the state of Israel. That's how idiots and cool they are. And this, of course, is is used as a proof that I cannot my children should be detached from me, and this is exactly the case. So it's not something theoretical. This evil is taking place right now. So I mean, so what is really happening is that the nanobots are actually working on the fuel and transforming it to another thing, and something that we've seen them doing already many times. So we know that it's something that they like to do, to take material and to use energy. And I mean, it's a very important question, but I want to deal with that in another video of where exactly did they get their own energy from, and how do they manipulate the energy that is, and this is probably something that would be very this is not something that probably can be explained using the current paradigms of physics. I mean, it's the deviance from the current norms of physical science. But you already know that, I mean, you cannot really understand or even begin to understand the scientific mechanism behind those nanobots using, I mean, the conventions of human science, because it's impossible. I mean, if you stick to the normal scientific assumptions that are accepted today, I mean, by humanity, I mean, the nanobots are either magicians or gods, which I mean is a valid point of view. But I mean, if you want to speak with it scientifically, you need to change your assumption. You have to change your assumption. You have to. But as I said before many times, I mean, you don't. In order to actually gain profit from those things, I mean, which is something that I really want to do, you don't have to understand what they do. I mean, it's not, you don't really have to understand the science behind something in order to actually gain a material benefit from it. And I mean, the best example is drugs. I mean, psychiatric drugs, including SSRIs, I mean, antidepressant pills that are so common today. Like, I mean, they're used by many millions of people, perhaps even billions. I don't know. No, billions perhaps is too. I mean, it's exaggeration, but maybe hundreds of millions of people. And like people actually, they don't know jack about like how they actually work. I mean, it's like it's all just. I mean, it's voodoo style. Like, I mean, doctors don't have any clue, like, I mean, apart from like, I mean, just, I mean, vague remarks and like, I mean, throwing of hands and like, I mean, all sort of like, I mean, brain science bullshit. That, I mean, if you know something about brain science, which is so like heralded today as like, I mean, one of like, I mean, humanity's greatest achievement. The reality of brain science is that people don't, I mean, humans don't know anything about their own brain. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, they don't know so little about it. It's and much of, I mean, much of like the things that are actually taking place, like, I mean, I studied in the Hebrew University, and one of like most prestigious like scientific like establishments in the Hebrew University, which is so like it's it's the most prestigious university in Israel, and like an international. It's considered like an international, like a very high quality research university, like in international standards. But and they have like a special like institute of brain sciences, like, and they are very proud of it, and they send their best students to do PhDs, and of course they have PhDs from people abroad. But I can tell you that I mean many of the things that they actually do, it's like voodoo. They don't really understand what they actually do. I know it sounds stupid, but that's the way it is. They don't really know what they're doing. I mean, there are a bunch of really smart people over there, but they don't really do. I mean, many of them just do research without understanding what the fuck they're actually doing. Yeah, that's reality. So that's the way. I mean, that's the way. Like, I mean, that's the state of affairs of humanity with the knowledge that they have. I mean, regarding their own brain, and yet, I mean, brain medication, like, especially in like, I mean, in like the variety of SSRIs and SNRIs or in TCAs, you know, these are all very, very common antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. And I mean, they are so common and everybody takes them, and like, it's like even a fashion to take it, but nobody really knows how they work. So, I mean, yeah, you can actually create very successful products that, I mean, affects even the human body and even the human brain immensely, and to create like a product that it will be common worldwide without anyone really understanding what the hell is happening. Like how these things are actually working. So yeah, we don't really need to understand the physics of the neurons, and it's probably going to take a very long time until like humanity, or I think it's better to actually speak about the replacement of humanity, because humanity is disgusting. But so it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while until, like, I mean, your replacement, the creatures that will replace you, I hope very soon, we actually understand like the physics behind the things that the neurons are doing. But we don't actually need to understand everything in order to like you harvest the fruits of the work. So another thing that should be mentioned is that when you start the fire, the neurons actually die. So you cannot, like, if you start the fire and then you stop the fire, it's something that I've done several times, because actually, I mean, even a small amount of material, of like a beeswax, after if it was exposed for several hours or even minutes, but it's definitely hours, and very pronounced days exposed to the neurons, I mean, it's very potent. So, I mean, I didn't even have enough time to see for how long it burned, so I just shut the fire and I continued burning it in the after that, if you remember, it's all documented in YouTube. So, but after you actually light it, the neurons die. They don't. I mean, you cannot, like, if you when you light the fire, the reaction stops because all the neurons die. They cannot stand the heat. So, but the fuel is still very potent, as you've seen. But the reaction stops. So you need to I mean, if you want to get the maximum result or very good result, you need to wait with the before you actually light the fire, because after that you will still, I mean, even if you stop the fire, you will still get, I mean, the fuel will still be there and it could be reused. I mean, not reused, but continue to be used. I mean, the day after that, as we've seen. But I mean, you will not get a better fuel from it. I mean, that's because they're all dead. I mean, after it starts, they cannot stand such a heat. And this also is a testament to the fact that it's not the neurons that are burning; it's the fuel that is burning. So another question, I mean, should be asked. So I mean, they're actually workers. They get the fuel and they can make it better, and then they either die by the fire, or perhaps there is or they continue to just make it better. I don't know I mean, if this is I mean, to what limit, or when they stop, I don't know. And maybe there is even a way to actually get them out of the fuel and do other work. I don't know if it's possible. I have no idea. Perhaps it's impossible. Certainly, I mean, it's something that is way beyond my practical limitations. But most commonly, they just die when I just start the fire. So you can ask, okay, so why maybe we can actually create, I mean, this fuel, whatever it is. If it's it could be a mutated beeswax, or I mean, a much better olive oil, or more potent olive oil, or a much more potent linseed oil. Maybe we humans, Homo sapiens, can actually, I mean, study, I mean, these fuels, and then, I mean, if you understand how it's built, we can create it, and this could actually be done without the neurons at all. And this is a possibility, and perhaps it's already happening, because I don't have a way to control it. As you know, I burned several maybe up to maybe 10 times that I've already light the fire. I mean, in Israel, in Rishon LeZion, and on the beach, and Ramat Sharon, and usually when, I mean, if when I'm done, there is still a big chunk of fuel, I just take the can with the fuel with me just for later. But when I thought that it's done, I just left it there, on the beach, or on the garbage can, or in garbage can on the street. And it's, I mean, if intelligence people of Israel, I mean, the people of the intelligence community in Israel, or perhaps, I don't know, foreign agents in Israel that follow me, I mean, were they were, I mean, industrious enough, or I mean, quick enough, or maybe, I don't know, greedy enough. Potentially, it's possible that they waited for me to leave, and actually to take the cans out, and perhaps they scratch a little bit of, perhaps several, I mean, perhaps a little bit of fuel was actually left there, and was not burned, or didn't burn properly, because sometimes the fire distinguished, I mean, is it's shut down, even if the fuel is still fuel over there, because it doesn't burn, just like normal food. It's not necessarily burn optimally. So sometimes there are bits of fuel that's still left, and I didn't I didn't care about it. I mean, it's not Neros. It's not. I mean, if it was the actual robots, I'm much more careful about that, to keep them with my under my protection. I mean, however I can, or in my mother's apartment, which, I mean, I hope it's also should not be I hope she's not selling the stuff, and I think she doesn't. I think she don't know how to do it, and I mean, I also know that, I mean, it's not a very easy thing to do, but I mean, So I don't want to actually like allow other people take the nanobots as they have done in the past many times, and they did horrible thing with it. And I've spoken a lot about it in the past. But I mean, with regards to actually like the creations of the nanobots, then I mean, I'm not that like religious about it. I mean, of course, if it like I mean, if it was money, I mean, I rather sell it than give it for free. But for I mean, the example that I just give you, I mean, there are I didn't like took like the pain of like just like I mean validating that there are no scraps at all wherever. So potentially, I mean, people in Israel or maybe foreign like agents already scrapped like things that I left on the beach or like in the trash can on the beach or in the trash can on the streets. There are actually quite a few already, and potentially if they were smart enough, maybe they already scratched a little bit of fuel, and maybe they gave it to like research laboratories, and they already maybe right now they are, I don't know, in Israel or abroad, they are studying the material, and potentially they can replicate it like if they understand how it's made. It's certainly a possibility for them to actually replicate it, and then you don't need me at all, and you don't need the nanobots, and I mean it's one less thing that I will be able to sell, because I already thought about it as well as about like actually it was one of my things that I thought about in the last or also when I was under arrest, like in the prison, that that I could actually sell candles. I mean, candles are not that lucrative like items, but if like I create like a candle, like a big candle, and like a very big one, like the ones that they sell like in like a variety stores, like very big candle, and like with the promise that it can last for like a year or 2 years, and this is something that I'm sure could be done. It's not an exaggeration. I'm sure that it could be done, and not very, it's not going to be that difficult for me to actually create candles that can last for a year or 2 years. I'm not kidding about it. With normal flame, little flame of a candle, not like the big fire the big fire like immensely more like energy consume much more energy, but like a normal candle, like the ones that you sell like in candle store, but the big one, the big variety. Something that will look like this, I guess. It's something that here, it's not mine, it's left by someone from the hostel. So you see this candle here? It's almost done, but I guess when it was like new, it was something like that. So maybe this kind of candle, but I'm going to actually promise like for the consumer that it's going to last like if they wish, like for a year or two, like continuously. And of course they can stop at any time and continue whenever they want, and it will probably that way it can last like all their life. This is not science fiction. This is something that I know I can do it, right? I cannot, because I don't want to do anything that revolves around like fire and fire experiments here in the hostel. But this is something that I actually can do. I can create big candles that can last for a year or two, and I stand behind those words right now. So I thought about I don't know how much one of these can be sold, like for how much, but it's also something that a commercial opportunity that I thought about like doing the last couple of weeks. But I actually don't want to do it right now, because first I cannot like do fire experiments in the hostel environment, and I'm not allowed to get out of here, at least until next hearing on May 23. And then the other reason, which is even more important, is that I really, really need money right now, and I promised myself to just start to actually work on the business and start selling stuff. And it's much more important for me to actually sell stuff right now than to think about more products. As fascinating as it might be, but I need like to be like to keep my feet on the ground, and to actually sell, and to concentrate on selling. And I know that selling, at least from my perspective, selling and marketing and is immensely less interesting and entertaining than doing science and creating products. And it's not a coincidence that my profession is software engineer, and not like a marketing or sales person, So but I need to actually do it right now, even though it's not my profession. It's not something that I like. At least I don't have experience about it, and I don't have the inclination. Maybe when I start to do it, I actually like it. Maybe, but it's a possibility. I mean, certainly. I mean, if it will generate revenue, I mean, then there is much more like chance. I mean, probability that they'll actually, the higher probability that they actually like to do it if it generates good revenue. But anyway, one way or the other, I mean, I need to start focusing on on creating the site and on doing like sales and marketing, and not marketing, but more like sales and customer services, things like that, and to actually make money and for now wait with like more products. But there are, even though it's much more interesting, and there are certainly like many things that are on the way, but I need to stop like R&D for now and concentrate on sales. Okay, so that will be all for now, and happy Passover for the ones that are observing the Passover, and of course Ramadan Kareem for in prison you meet many as they call them cousins in Israel, like Arab Muslims. So Ramadan Kareem and happy Passover. So and I hope that I'll have soon enough. I'll have maybe a first draft of a site or something like that. So bye for now.